Hello again, and welcome to Winning with the Wrangler at Dick Powell's Leadership Corner, brought to you by Earth, Wind, Fire, Water Training and Development, where our passion is building leaders of today and tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a very special person with us. Miss Robin, how are you doing today?
I am terrific.
Now, I have to tell you that I'm going to stick my neck out here a little bit.
Really?
Yeah,
That's so unusual.
Today's conference is our talk. We're going to speak about something that's called corporate conscience, and conscience is a word that doesn't come easy because all of us have this different person. You and I grew up with Jiminy Cricket, the conscience sitting on your shoulder, kind of guiding you through making good and better choices. Okay, sometimes I didn't do real good, and Jiminy Cricket would say something to me. But this conscience of corporate conscience, I think, is different.
So you're talking about the responsibilities and expectations from corporations and their employees between them? Okay. I thought we should clarify that a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the relationship between corporations and their employees, their people. Okay. So do you have something specific in mind?
I do.
Okay. Good.
I'm going to ask a question. Okay, the question is, do corporations, or for that matter, small companies, have a conscience today?
I hope some do. I know many do not.
I think on the most part, I believe that the smaller corporations, especially home-owned corporations
Small
and companies,
business.
I believe that they do their best.
Okay.
I sometimes think that large corporations just get lost. Would that be a way to take a look at that?
And I have to go from the corporation's standpoint. They have certain requirements and expectations and parameters that they have to fall within, and sometimes people get caught in the
middle.
Melee.
Okay. So I'm not saying that, everybody's bad.
Right.
Don't go there. But in the last 2 weeks, two of my good friends were let go on Friday afternoon.
Can I stop right there and ask you, when you worked for that major telecommunications company,
Uh-huh.
was that when they let people go?
Yep.
Okay. I just want to know if that was common or...
Yeah. Well, it wasn't at the first one.
Okay.
It was when the buyout happened and the second one happened. Yes. At the first one, they would always ask the person to come and see them on Monday or so they could help them align something else coming up.
Give them a week to look for a job.
They were huge about helping you get to a better place, or whatever.
So that was a pretty major.
And we're gonna talk about that.
Okay, that was a pretty major corporation with a small company.
It was a worldwide corporation with a small company philosophy.
Okay.
That's why I want to talk to you about this, because it seems like it's becoming a habit. But I really had two good friends who were both let go on a Friday with no severance. Oh. That's because in Florida, where we live today, you don't have to give notice, warning, or severance. We have an open work state.
Oh, that's right, right to work.
And after both had been told at the beginning, had they both been told at the beginning of the week, like I suggested, of course, they would have been able to look for something else or line something else up. And it would have told them how much they had been appreciated, even though they were having to be let go. There's a whole different way to do this. Now let me say that if an employee is caught stealing or some other fireable offense, the hatchet must fall. Okay, I have absolutely no problem in that. But what I am saying is that if employers expect a 2-week notice for an employee leaving the company, but fire someone without cause on a Friday afternoon. This was that person that was working at the hospital, by the way.
Oh, bless him.
Okay. It should tell the rest of the employees what kind of company they are working for and how lowly the management is. The company definitely does not have any leadership or business sense. I'm going to stick to that, by the way.
Okay, I was thinking back when, this is back in the 60s.
Wow, that's...
I know, but this
was, years ago.
This was the way things were done in the 60s. My dad worked at a bank, and the bank had merged with another bank, and so his department was being phased out.
Right.
And what happened was they started with the vice president, and subsequently down. He was pretty low in the totem pole when it started. Subsequently down, they were people were the top level. I think was finding new jobs and leaving, and then they were moving people up to
Right.
fill up positions. And then after they would find a new job and move on. Well, like I said, Dow was at the bottom, and he got a pink slip, which meant thank you very much for your, again, it was in the paycheck on a Friday afternoon. Thank you very much for your, your work and your everything, but you're done. And I think that did come on a Friday afternoon with the paycheck. I was pretty little then, so.
Yeah.
And my dad was expecting it. Now, see, at that point, because he knew there'd been a merge.
But he kind of saw down the road.
And he knew it. And honestly, he got that one time. That wasn't the only time he ever got a pink slip for that reason, because banks merge and departments aren't
done away
dissolved.
with, yeah.
Yeah, because the other bank has a better department or whatever. So he one time when he got the slip, and they were at the grocery store because it was payday, and he brought but he'd been worried about it for about 2 months, and he hadn't said anything to my mom. But those things affect your body. So yeah, so it was again at that point it was a blessing because it was coming.
Right.
And that's old school. Evidently, that is not current school.
I'm going to tell you what, the current school, in this person's case, he had been there over 20 years.
Yeah.
Had always come in early, stayed late, worked through lunches, all sorts of stuff. I mean, I knew this person's work ethic.
He loved it.
And I knew all the people that worked with him.
Do you think he made other people look bad? And that's why he had to go? I don't know.
I don't know. I just know that in a corporation, this was probably the worst thing they could do. The message they sent to everyone that was still working there was, we don't care about you. You're just a number. And that's the part that really bothers me. So the corporate conscience in this situation.
Do they have one?
Jeez. So I wonder what the rest of the company and employees think on their way home.
Yeah. I might be next. Yeah. Am I next?
Am I next?
What did he do?
I, for one, would not want to stay very long and would start immediately looking for another position. Which I did, by the way.
Oh, yes, you did. Okay. And that's I guess that's the options. I guess it makes, I don't know if that makes the other employees do better or it makes them worry more or what the deal is. But it sends messages.
What it sent was there's no loyalty to us, so we'll have no loyalty to them. Is what it said to them. I saw people who always habitually came in early, stayed late, worked through lunches, did whatever it was, but I saw them turn into the other kind of employee.
I think it's a self-defense mechanism.
And here's why I'm bringing this up today. I have been to a large organizational meeting of many corporate heads in the Ola area called a think tank. And in the think tank, the corporate head said, I never forget the guy stood up there, put his hands on, we just can't find good employees today. And I said, oh, well, what's your record of hires and fires and people leaving and those kind of things?
How long are people staying?
He said, well, our average is about 3 months.
Oh, my goodness.
I said, so
look internally.
I said, so you got a problem, son. He says, no, they've got a problem. They don't come ready to work. I said, well, let's look at this. And as we started to take a really look at it, I'm going to tell you what, there was some major flaws in thinking, as well as there was no expectations given to the employee when they were hired. They were thrown into the location, expected to take and pick up and do whatever they needed to be done.
So no training period.
And then if something happened, they immediately went out the door.
Yeah, it wouldn't take much.
and of course, in his world was he had come up through an organization that's the way he'd never seen anything different.
So he had a really limited experience.
And now he was the manager of a company.
Wow.
And that's really, when we had long talks about it, I said, how would you have felt if you had been let go and you had no reason, you didn't have a clue why? How would you feel going telling your wife? What kind of taste in your mouth would that leave for that company, organization? How would you portray them when you went out and talked about them to other people?
Not very nicely.
Would people want to take and buy their widgets or go to their stores?
Well,
You see?
I just had this really weird thought,
Oh,
so I'm going to share it. What if before you took a job or a position with a corporation like that, you checked out the corporation? And we don't think to do that, do we?
I encourage people to
Oh
do those
my,
things
is it
now.
a good place to work or
I
not?
wrote a big thing on LinkedIn a couple weeks ago about checking out the organization before you accept the job.
Yeah,
And I took some
it's a good plan.
I took some hits about it, just so you know.
I'm sure from the corporation part, right?
I took some hits from HRs.
Oh, I'm sure.
From the HRs around the company, because I said even in HR sometimes they don't always tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me goodness truth. And I said, just look, they're hiring and not firing, but they're hiring their income and outgo of people.
Yeah, how long are people staying?
What's their average? I mean, if they're there for 25 years, and
well, and that happens.
You need to look at that. Were they there 25 years and they were let go because they were sick?
Or because they were making too much money and you could hire
or what was it? You need to look at that as if you're looking for an opportunity that you want longevity. In today's world, I'm told that's not something young people look for. I think it's kind of silly, but that's just my world.
Well, I think because things have evolved, people aren't staying their whole entire careers in one corporation, one company or whatever. I mean, it's not.
I was 48 and had 30 years. Come on.
That's right. Well, that was you. But think about how many people came and left in between.
Oh, lots.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people that you started with also retired at 30 years or a little longer, some of them.
Yeah.
But a lot of people came and went in between.
I'll tell you, it's amazing to me.
So yeah, for a variety of reasons.
I'm just saying that when I hear a company president tell me that we can't find good help, either A, they're not looking, or B, their hiring practices are not where they need to be. That's what I'm saying.
And it might be that people are taking a job until they find a better job. We have that. I'm sure there's some percentages on that across the board.
There are, but I'll tell you what,
things have changed, and people aren't starting jobs thinking they're going to work there their whole career.
What we're talking about here is corporate conscience, and the conscience here is
true.
If you're hiring somebody as fodder, put them on the front line, shoot them up as fast as you can. If they die, good. If they live, good.
Okay.
There's no thought process on. Maybe
there's no plan.
Maybe we can work with them to build them into the best that we can be, or any of those other kind of things.
Okay, I have two ways to go with this.
Okay.
Okay, from this point, there's a major aeronautics and space company here in Largo.
Yep.
That really expanded in the early 60s.
Yep.
Now, what happened with them was over time they would lose government contracts and it'd be a major layoff.
Right.
But we know a fair number of people that actually worked there
most of
their career. We also know other people that voluntarily left when the contracts went away a couple of times, probably because they were ready to move on, but moved into other positions where they actually grew and functioned as people. And end up running, in one case, running that corporation before he was let go. But think about it.
That's totally different.
That's a whole different thing
than someone coming to you on Friday afternoon. Right. You're packing up. You're getting ready to go home, and they say, "Oh, by the way, we don't need you on Monday."
Well, again, I come from factory towns in the Northeast. My dad and my uncles all worked for factories. Our neighbors, most of them worked for factories. But there were layoffs and strikes and everything else equalized out. Yep. So, sometimes you read about that in the paper and sometimes you got a paper in your paycheck. It depended. But that was just the life. That was the lifestyle. But the people that stayed and worked there retired pretty good.
So I'm just wondering some things. I'm left wondering every day why more people don't work for themselves and contract to those lousy companies and bosses. Which is what I saw happen when I left after 30 years. And then people said, "Oh, didn't you become a contractor and work back?" No, I didn't go back. So
maybe that's the way of the future.
Here's what I want to ask. Okay, so what has happened? Now, here's the deal. Unless there's a fireable offense has occurred, okay, a Monday morning meeting would allow the person some time to find a new opportunity. I think in some cases, when the company is downsizing, there's something going on, I believe it's part of the company's due diligence is to help a little bit. Okay. Now, if it's something major and you can't do that, you can give them the rest of the day off and even the rest of the week with pay. Why not? If you talk to them on Monday, they're not going to do much between Monday and Friday if you've let them go.
Yeah, so they're backwards. If you
help
talk
them
to
out.
them on Friday, they can't do anything until Monday.
That's right.
So you're sitting home.
And here's the difference.
Depressed and worried.
Here's the difference.
Days. Yeah.
One, we let you know on Monday. You can go home and start making some plans.
Tuesday, you're looking for a job.
And making things happen. And when you leave, you go to another position. You might not have liked it being let go, but you still don't have a terrible taste in your mouth, and you're not going to badmouth them too bad.
No, because you might understand why they had to let you go. Maybe.
I do think that it's our. I think it's my duty to help the other person find another position that they may be even suited for better. Send them out on a positive note.
Yeah.
Okay, and not a note that they will repeat over and over and spread far and wide. That's what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah, I guess if they leave happy or...
This one gentleman who was let go on a Friday afternoon at the hospital, I'm going to have to tell you, it's hard for me to even want to go down there. and I'm going to have to go there sometime because, I've got some health things and I know that I'm going to end up there. But that's the corporate greed or whatever you want. I just disagree with it so much.
Well, and I have to, like you said, you mentioned HR. I think in a lot of big corporations, the HR person does that. You also, in some corporations, when they're downsizing a lot, they're getting rid of a lot of people, they hire somebody to come in and let them go. So it's not coming back to the company. I don't know how much the company could have done before that happened to ensure that they continued having that many employees or whatever, or if somebody just has outlived their usefulness and they have to go.
If they've outlived their usefulness, then fine. Find a way to let them go in a positive manner.
Right.
That's all I'm really trying to say here, is that having a conscience means having a conscience, because when you let somebody go, it's not just them you're letting go.
No, you're letting go.
It's their spouse, it's their children, it's their family. It could expand really big. And if you
send the fallout can be really big too.
And if you send them out with a bad taste in your mouth, if you send them out angry, are they going to ever say anything nice about that company?
Probably not.
I never forget coming back from a meeting that was out of town, came back, found my office packed up and a new guy sitting in my chair. I'll never forget that. That was one of the best things that ever happened to me, because I've been retired ever since and working on my own and doing my own thing. And made more money. But I have to tell you, I don't ever say too many nice things about that company or about that person who was sitting in my chair, who jumped up out of their chair and said, "Oh, congratulations, Mr. Powell, you get to retire." I'm just saying the corporate conscience is huge.
Can you tell we're not over this yet? Is it obvious?
It's been a long time.
Yeah,
I'm over it.
But it happened.
It was one of the best things. It's been a great blessing to be out work, because I've always wanted to work for myself, do my own thing, write my own books, speak my own mind, and do all those things without being hindered by the corporate world.
Okay, let's switch over to what happens to the person that was let go, and what are their options.
All right.
Update your
one of the biggest things that I found is when people are let go, they didn't keep current
on things
outside the company. They didn't keep current on the career that they had chosen. Now, you've heard Rob and I talk about choices, but sometimes we don't choose our career, we just kind of fall into it. Okay,
doors open.
One of the things I learned, though, during that time, even though I kind of fell into my career, it was up to me to keep current on all the latest and greatest and things are happening.
Right.
And I never forget that when I would be at my lunchtime reading a book or listening to a tape. Yeah, we had tape recorders back then.
Cassette
players, okay? the people I worked with would always comment. Well, they'd say things like, if the company wanted you to know that, they'd send you to school to teach you. And I would say, well, gosh, I'm just trying to stay current on the newest, greatest.
Could have been the reason some of those guys got let go from that major corporation.
It could be.
Might have been more reasons than they thought. So after you're let go, what do? You get your resume up to order. You put on a good suit.
I think there's a couple things. One is you need to take and do some research on why you were let go.
Okay.
And then you need to do some research on what you want to do next.
Right.
Okay. And then if you might need to have to get prepared. You might have to take a class. You might have to go to a seminar. You might have to read a book. You might have to do all those things. So you're prepared before you execute and go looking for that next position.
So since most Americans live paycheck to paycheck,
yeah,
how long can you actually go without a job?
Well,
without a paycheck.
I love my buddy Dave Ramsey.
Yeah.
Okay.
6 months, yeah.
When we talk about corporate conscience, him and I have had some interesting conversations because he's like me. You need to have your money put away. I don't care what kind of job you have. You need to make sure you have money put away in your treasure chest. And 2, you need to always have a plan B. And he talks quite frankly about multiple streams of income. Mm-hmm. And he talks about as if it's a husband and wife team, that means they have 4 streams, 2 for each.
Wow.
Okay. And he does that because, well, if one goes away, you still have another one. It's not traumatic, but it's not as traumatic as it could be if you didn't have anything.
Yeah, you're not going to be homeless in a month.
Okay.
And that's real.
So when we were young, we were fortunate. We had a gentleman who kind of explained finances to us, and we started doing that. So when I was in the union, and every couple of years, the contractor come due, and everybody, if we get laid off, I say, well, if they get laid off, I'll have a job before I get home. And things like that. People go, well, you're awful confident in yourself. I said, well, if I got to dig ditches again, if I have to pump gas again, if I have to bag groceries again, it's not the worst thing in the world. I'm going to do something. And I always had, I still do. I have great confidence that I can go out and turn a dollar. Might not be doing what I want to do. Might be below my raisins, as some have told me. But you know what? You take care of your family first, and that's the deal. So I always said if I got laid off or I got fired, I'd have a job pretty quick. I remember that when I left that company, I already had a job before I left at my last day.
Yeah, it was a temporary one.
It was a temporary one, but I had a job.
And it was hard work.
It was hard work. It wasn't something we were going to do the rest of our lives.
But it was a good summer.
But it gave us a good in-between fun.
Right, give us space.
So the plan B, corporate conscience, I think has something to deal with it, but I think it also has something to deal with the individual. Are you planning your life, or is someone else planning your life? And it all comes back to that. If you're not planning your life, someone else is and will. Guarantee it.
It's true.
So when we look at corporate conscience, corporations, they have to make decisions. There's a bunch of people making those decisions. Sometimes you just get caught up in one where they've either downsized or something, they lost a contract. Something's happening where they just need to do away with your position. What I'm trying to say is, leaders, there's 2 ways to do that. One is, in my world, a leadership way, and the other one is a management way. The management way is to wait until Friday afternoon and send out their paycheck and their pink slip all in one piece and don't even talk to them. Or if you do talk to them, you just tell them you're not needed and there's the door, and we'll escort you out.
Oh, yeah, you have to escort out now.
Okay.
Yes.
The leadership way, though, I believe the leadership way on corporate side is to, this is happening. The decision's already been made weeks in advance. And you can prepare the people that it's going to happen. This is going to happen. And we're going to help you either find a new position, or we're going to help you help yourself find a new position. You see, that is the leadership way. And that's what I'm trying to talk about today. I believe even a small mom and pop small company, where we get to a point where we need to hire someone, but every once in a while we need to back up a bit. We try our best to help them find another place. And that's through networking, by the way. I network with a lot of different other companies, a lot of different places, and I can usually find somebody a position pretty quick. That's a leadership way. That is the leadership way. That's what I'm trying to tell you. If they would have come to this person on Friday afternoon or Monday and told them that, hey, we have to downsize the department, and unfortunately, your job is going to be done away with. What can we do to help you find a new position? This person would have thought about this corporation an entirely different matter.
Probably. I'm sure. And don't some major corporations, when they're getting ready to do a major layoff or whatever, have
they do bring in companies
people to come in and help people find new positions?
They certainly do. And those are the leadership companies. If you're looking at going through the LinkedIn area and you're looking at those companies, that's the company I would want to go to, because I know that they felt good. They liked the people. They felt about people, and you were more than a number.
Well, yeah, it's kind of more of a more gracious separation.
Yeah, and that's why when I did work those 30 years, that place, that's why I worked there. I knew that they cared for not only me, but they cared for my whole family. They cared for you and the kids, and every decision they made were through that eyeglass.
Right.
And
that's again, that's the corporate conscious from the top theology and feelings. And it does make a difference.
Yeah, I have to tell you, I remember George Gage coming out on the job site, talking to us like we were just like real people, even though he was president of the company. That was a huge. That day, I was going to stay my 30. I was going to take and do my best I could every day. And if this gentleman had enough gumption to come out and talk to us on the line crew, for goodness sake, it really made a big difference on me.
So it's little things.
But when the company was bought by another company and they brought in their people, non-respectful.
Whole different.
They weren't respectful of the people there. And so when I talk about corporate conscience, I believe we're talking about it in a leadership area or a management area. And I truly believe we lead people and we manage things.
Right.
So the thing would be the layoff. The thing would be the downsizing. The thing would be that. But the leadership would be how we handle the thing.
Right. So what comes to the surface at that point?
I believe strongly that the management had a leadership choice on how to handle it. Well, I have to tell you, this has been a lot of fun. Robin, what do you think about today's corporate discussion? You feel good about it or bad about it?
Well, I'm not sure yet. But I feel like it's something we needed to talk about and be cognizant of. And also for small companies to use what we say and apply it to a smaller company, and you're hiring and letting go tactics and what that means. And maybe middle-sized companies need to be open more to consultants, that they hire small companies to come in and do different things or whatever it means, small tasks, whatever. Just be open to that. Then they're not your employee all the time, and you have to have those responsibilities.
I do. Outsourcing is still a big piece, but I still think there has to be some conscience that goes with outsourcing.
Oh yeah, you still have to have a conscience and a plan to go with that, and make sure everyone understands all that.
Right. And this is something we do every day. Well, on behalf of myself, Dick Powell, and Robin Powell, and the whole Leadership Corner team, we want to say thank you for being a part of today's program. Our hope is that you've received a nugget of wisdom and guidance that will help you build your leadership ability. Now, if you have any questions or comments on today's program, don't hesitate. Send us an email, dick@leadershipwrangler.com, dick@leadershipwrangler.com. If you want to set an appointment with either Robin or myself to talk about one of these opportunities, go ahead, go to the website, www.leadershipwrangler.com, click on that little button, make your appointment. We'll get to you as fast as we can. You know what? If it's burning desire and you want to answer today, give us a call, 727-422-1833, 727-422-1833. And you know what? When you're ready for the next time to bring in a leadership opportunity for either a keynote or a training or instruction, make sure that you let us know here at Earth, Wind, Fire, Water Training Development. Bring on the Leadership Wrangler. Until next time, DW the Wrangler saying, ride hard, ride fast. I ran over by 9/100ths of a second. That's okay.
Oh, well.
Okay, what are you going to name this one?
Corporate conscious.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me go see if I can get the missing information off of what Beverly has already done on her other computer.
Okay.
I couldn't believe I ran out of paper and didn't tell me that.
Other questions you can do or not?
Most of them, yeah.
Okay.